Assalamu alaikum again. It's a distinct pleasure to introduce Mr. Frank Fakhrul Islam. Mr. Frank Islam is a successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, civic leader and thought leader with a special commitment to civic, educational and artistic causes. I'm sure you have heard majority of his course in different times. His bio is with you, you can read up so that you can listen to him directly. As Irfan pointed out, enumerate some of his beliefs. Education is a powerful equalizer. Education is the key for opportunities and the bridge to future. Contributes to education not as a charity. This is very, very interesting statement that he makes in his beliefs. Contributes to education not as a charity, but an investment that changes the entire paradigm in thinking. So this is, one should really think about, it's a very powerful belief that he has, and we should embrace it completely. And then he quotes in his writings, John F. Kennedy, to those much is given, much is expected. He proves this by his example. He lives by actions, not his words. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Muslim leadership failed to follow the principles and the results are obvious. But you can see the person is so strongly committed to education and he does not think that contribution to education is not a charity. I was truly moved by some of his quotations that I read through his writings. Anyhow, Mr. Islam was born, raised in Azamgarh, UP, India, moved to Aligarh, then to America, at the University of Colorado where he obtained his bachelor's and master's degrees in computer sciences. And he founded and developed QSS IT firm in 1994. He bought this for $45,000 with a one person working for him and several $1 million worth of the company that he sold in, and several $1 million worth of the company that he sold in 2007. Soon after that, instead of just enjoying his retirement and his money, and he undertook a philanthropic approach to distribute his health among the needy and use all his money for education endeavors. And you'll see how he progressed. He's a complete and a total life is reflective of his commitment to education. This is what attracted me to invite him to give the keynote address today. As he is a comprehensive and complete person, he participates in not only in educational activities, but artistic involvement, civic involvement, higher education involvement. He's on many prestigious universities like Johns Hopkins and George Mason University and many other universities both here and abroad. So his charitable comes from his and his wife Debbie's charitable foundation and started in 1980. His business involvements are many. The literature, I think Irfan pointed out, he already wrote 2 books that he mentioned. Now he is in the process of writing a book on education, creating and connecting all the dots. So with this brief introduction that you'll come to know more as he presents his keynote talk today, and I'll probably, because of lack of time, I will not go into his very detailed bios. It came in different pieces and bits. You'll be able to complete these dots that he talks about. Mr. Frank Islam.
Can you hear you guys? So, are you guys tired? Dr. Ahmed, Dr. Niazi, members of the board, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin my speech today, I'd like to say three things. Number one, I should have Irfan everywhere selling my book. So he did a really good job in my two books, Renewing the American Dream and The Pivot Points. And as you all know, both books are available if you go to Amazon to buy it. And if you send me an email, I'll send you free of charge. So, and also Dr. Niazi. President John F. Kennedy once. Dr. Niazi is a visionary. Dr. Niazi is a visionary, and his strength and values and qualities that binds us together as a community. And our hope is cause endures of making the Northwest Suburban College as the Muslim Johns Hopkins University, and I hope his dream shall never die. Some members of my family is here. I know Dr. Ahmed introduced half of the people over here belongs to his family. If each and everyone contributes a significant amount of money, we'll be in good shape. So I want to recognize my sister Araish here, my nephew Ishtiaq, and my nephew traveled with me to India when I went to give a convocation address to Aligarh Muslim University, and when I went with President Obama to India. And his wife, who my wife Debbie loves her. Risha, stand up. And a little bit about the background of Risha. She is also related to Dr. Ahmed. We may not be bonded by blood, we may be oceans apart, but we definitely are bonded by marriage. So thank you for that kind introduction, Dr. Ahmed. It is truly a pleasure and honor for me to be here this evening. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. And looking at you tonight, I never felt so blessed. I'd like to express my deep gratitude to Dr. Ahmed for inviting me to deliver this address. Both of us have a store of shared memory. Dr. Ahmed provides the broad shoulders upon which we can stand. He is the source of strength, and he inspires all of us not only to do well, but also to do good. So let us stand shoulder to shoulder for the values and the vision we share. Let us give him a big round of applause. I just met his daughter, Afshan, and I introduced her to the daughter came to our house, who goes to George Washington University. Oh, what a wonderful daughter you have, and thank you. So I'm delighted to be here with you this evening because I feel a personal and indelible connection. We are linked by a common goal, a common cause, a common vision, and a common commitment. I also feel a common bond through our shared history, shared heritage, shared background, and shared belief. The lot that unite us, the little that divide us. Our bonds are stronger than the differences that too often drive us apart. I accepted the invitation to join you at the celebrations for three reasons. The first is that I understand how important higher education can be in one's life. It can shape your story, it can shape your journey, and I graduated I graduated from Aligarh Muslim University in India, then came to the United States and got 2 degrees in information technology from the University of Colorado at Boulder when I left India at the age of 16 long years ago. That higher education provided me with the basic knowledge, the skills and abilities that I needed for success in the business world and as an entrepreneur. It provided me with a basic and essential foundation for attaining and achieving and realizing the American dream. The second reason is I'm passionate about higher education and what it can do to transform lives, especially for those who come from modest background and modest circumstances, a humble beginning as I did. My foundation provides assistance and I serve on many boards ranging from to international institutions like Johns Hopkins University, American University, Marymount University, University of Maryland, and George Mason University. I firmly believe the education is the key to opportunity and bridge to the future success. The greatest gift all of us can give is the gift of education. It is the gift that keeps on giving. As Irfan quoted, and I will say this again, education empowers the mind and uplifts the soul. It is a powerful equalizer for opening doors to lift themselves out of the poverty. Education is the best investment we can make to create the next generations of leaders, entrepreneurs, problem solvers, and innovators. Education helps create higher aspirations, and higher aspirations propel individuals and moves nations forward. As President Obama said, education is the currency of the 21st century. Add to that what President Obama said, education frees the human mind from the shackles of ignorance. My foundation, Frank and Debbie Islam, supports many scholarship programs all over the country and the world, especially at the University of Colorado, at George Mason University, George Washington University, and many other universities. My wife, Debbie, and I are uniquely blessed. We embody the American dream. With that thought and spirit in mind, my wife, Debbie, and I have donated $2 million to build a school of business at Aligarh Muslim University. Aligarh shaped my story, Aligarh shaped my journey, Aligarh also determined my destiny. Its principles have always guided me throughout my life, whether the times calm or the crisis. I would not be the person I am today if I have not received the education at Aligarh Muslim University. I firmly believe, as Irfan said in his introduction, that my investment will yield exponential returns. As you all know, the Aligarh students has always been our best hope. This is my way of saying thank you. Who was my inspiration when I was probably in high school, maybe junior high, who said, I'm reminded and guided by those words of President Kennedy, who said, "To whom much is given, much is expected," which is what Dr. Niazi is doing. And thank you for all you do. I look at the time and dollars I contribute to higher education, as Irfan has also said, not as a charity, but as an investment. The returns on those investments has been and will be the graduates who will secure gainful employment and invest in the growth of the economy and help others climb to the ladders of success as well. So speak here at the Northwest Suburban College is that when my staff and I did the research on your college, I was inspired by what I found about the institution. You have a clear and a compelling vision and a mission. And you are doing an excellent work in an area of higher education that needs a lot of excellent work. I know the theme of this fundraiser, and I was told it is not a fundraiser, but I believe it is, because we need your money. Our community, our impact, our legacy. And I will address this message and theme specifically in part 3 of my remarks. Before I do so, however, in part 1, I will talk about the state of higher education today in America. In part 2, I will discuss the purpose of higher education and Northwest Suburban College, your business model, and what you're doing to transform higher education in a fundamental way. So let's get started. So what's the state of the higher education in the United States of America today? Overall, I would say it's mediocre. So if you look at the mediocre in the dictionary, it says of any moderate quality. And I think that unfortunately this has been what has happened to the higher education industry overall in the past quarter of a century or so in America. Higher education has moved from being the driving force to being more of a restraining force for the nation and many of our students. If I were to assign a letter grade, I would give it a C-. Am I being too tough a grader? I believe not. So here are the reasons for my assessment. Higher education costs far too much. The students today have to carry too large share of the cost of their education. It takes too long to graduate. Higher education does not provide the skills needed to acquire or to perform successfully on the job. Too many students start colleges. The student debt burden for completers and non-completers is astronomical. And finally, the debt burden retards the growth of our economy. So here are some of the facts and examples to support my analysis. Between 2001 and 2011, the tuition cost at community colleges had gone up 40%, and by a whopping 68% at four-year colleges. In March 2013, the State Higher Education Officer released a report disclosing that state and local appropriations had gone down to almost $3,000, or over 30%. Higher education funding grew by 1% an estimated 3.7% in 2014. That's the good news. But here's the bad news. The student share of what they pay for education has grown by 30%, and the states have cut back. For the first time ever, the students are now paying half or more of their education cost. So let me move from cost to graduation and skills development. The average time for a full-time student to graduate from a four-year institution is now 6 years. On average, about 40% of students who start full-time at a two-year college drop out. In terms of job placement, let me concentrate on the new generation, also known as millennials. A study found that those who got a job right out of school in 2000 was 84%. That dropped to 72% by 2012. In terms of the skill development, let me concentrate on the teaching profession. In 2013, the National Council of Teacher Quality released a report that said, and I quote, that teacher profession has become an industry of mediocre, churning out first-year teachers with classroom management skills and content knowledge inadequate to thrive in the classrooms in ethnic and socio-economic student diversity. Then there's a student debt. They're drowned by debt. Consumer Reports cover story in August was about student debt. The story reported that 42 million students in the United States bear $1.3 trillion in debt. That's $1 trillion, a big T. What a tragedy